should work. That's good enough. Good morning again. From comments yesterday, or let's just say that that handbrake, it's a program that you can get on the interwebs. And is the wind going to be too bad? We're going to have to risk it. Right, handbrake's fantastic. It means I can have quality videos and upload them in half an hour. It's a lifesaver. How I haven't come across it in some sort of form, or other programs haven't integrated it, I just don't know. Right, comments. I can think of two I want to talk about, but I thought there was another one lurking. First one is God, and going back to what I was talking about, facts and stories. Yeah, call it stories. Let's have a little think together, you and I. Us together, maybe. How many people in the last 2,000 years have really believed in God? If you do a lot of reading like I do about stuff, you kind of get an idea from... Oh, it is a bit breezy. Should we move in there? No, we'll be alright. That there's an awful lot of people. There's always the God botherers and the top God botherers that really give it fire and brimstone and all this shit. But I'd be iffy to whether they really believed it or not. But let's say that they all did. All the real God botherers did. But the lower God botherers didn't. You know, if you've got the Pope, he did. And if you've got just a third son that went into the church because it was the only job he can do, he did the job for the whole of his life, but did he really believe? You see, the word believe is very tricky. You can't really say, because we don't really know what the word believe, the word believe really means. There's no hard and set cut-off point. But if you just have a good think about all the characters you've come across that in historical, even novels, they can be representative, something written in 18th century about 17th century, or even if you go back before Jesus type God to the Greeks, and you know your Greek plays, which you probably don't, the whole thing was about people that believed in God, and basically the plays were about, look, nobody really believes in God, or gods it was at the time. But the thing is, it was highly inefficient for your life for the last 2,500 years. Let's even go back to the gods before the God. It was highly inefficient to go around saying that you didn't believe in God. That was the thing. That's the thing that we can really say was true. Whether these people really believed or not, and how much on what scale, is so debatable, we'll never get to the idea. But one thing that we can certainly absolutely say is that it was very bad for your career choice, very bad career choice to say that you didn't believe in God. And for many, like politicians now, and there must be some states in America and in Egypt, if you said you didn't believe in Muslim or whatever it's meant to be, if you try and be an atheist in Egypt or Saudi Arabia or something and see how you get on, I mean, you're not going to get on, that's the thing. So whether you believe or not, you say you do. And when so many people say they do, then so many people do. And are children taught to believe in God, or are they taught to say they believe in God? The whole thing's a bit iffy. If we want a bit of a more interesting, well, I think that's quite interesting, but if we want a bit of a meatier subject to grind on, think of, I thought of the example before, the American Negro slaves who really latched onto this God and Jesus idea. And there I think we've got a more intellectual way of going at the subject, that their desperation led them to need to believe in something else. And that's probably as close to a real belief as we get, is the need to believe in something else. And I think for many generations they undoubtedly had it. But, you know, we ask ourselves why, on a percentage basis, do they not have it now? Because they don't need to. So if it's a real belief, does it drop off like that? Again, it's only the use of words and what words should be stuck to as labels. But it's an interesting sort of idea. It's an interesting angle. The other comment was one about determinism, and I was loath to go back to it, but I thought, okay, let's do it. As in, the commenter said that me talking about determinism, all right, I did, led to his belief in so whatism. You know, as in, if it's deterministic, if it's not, you know, so what? Does it matter? And in a way, you can say everything matters or nothing matters, but let's go with the normal belief that people are, like belief in God, belief in the I. People are brought up, educated by their parents and everybody, life, to believe that there's something in them that can control them. In other words, there is the important them, the I, that is taught that it has to have the willpower, the responsibility, the choice making. It has got the choice making ability, that the angel thought comes and devil thought comes, and it is responsible to take the angel thought. That's what it must do to be a responsible human being. And it's an awful lot of responsibility to put on this little entity that's meant to reside in the head, that doesn't exist, is what I would maybe say. Where if we can understand that the brain is one, split into multivarious parts, but just for this, it's a machine that does the best it can with what it's got and what is thrown at it. And that expression, does the best it can, is absolutely, mystic closes his eyes and goes all godly on it, is highly important. The brain always does what it can. This little I thing by society is accused of not doing its best, and can get all sorts of complexes about how it didn't do its best and how it failed. When you understand a brain and how it works, the only thing it can ever do, on all occasions, every single microsecond, all through its life, it can only ever do its best. That's all it does. It's like Microsoft Windows. All it can do is its best. You see what I mean? And you can berate it for not doing better, but there's no way Microsoft Windows could do better. There is no way the brain can do better. It will do what it is programmed at that particular moment in time. Its entire life has led up to that moment. It will do then what it's programmed to do, just like Microsoft Windows. It hasn't got the choice to do better. It cannot do better. It can never do better. No person ever, because there have always been brains, could ever do any better than they did. I got a bit excited, so I'll leave it there, because I can't actually remember quite what the third comment was that I was going to talk about. Okay, so try and think on that. Comments, because I think we got on quite well in comments. If it appears, you know, if it appeals to you in comments. Do you understand that a brain can never do any better than it did? Never. On no occasion can it ever have done better. Just like Microsoft Windows. And have a little think about how many people through the last 2,500 years have really believed in gods or God. Or have they really gone along with the whole idea because it was fucking stupid not to have done? That's it for this morning. Thank you, bye.